and welcome to the Business of Being a Virtual Assistant. I'm your host, Tiffany Parson, and you're watching and listening to episode number 245. The topic for today is you are qualified. The other day, I was writing down some notes, thinking of, ideas on what to talk about. And I was led to write down my business tree. And you know how we have a family tree and it charts, parents, grandparents, great grandparents. It goes, back till you have a nice tree. And I looked at my business tree, the version of that, like how did I come to be here? And, traced it back. And the interesting thing to me that I saw is how everything that I have been through from a professional standpoint has woven into my virtual assistant business. I'm bringing this to you to let you know that the same thing applies to you. Everything that you have done can be woven into where you are today, regardless of where you are in your business, regardless if you've accomplished the goal that you wanted to reach by this time, regardless of that, everything plays a part, all to let you know you are qualified. I challenge you to write down your business tree, and I'm going to use mine as an example so you have an idea what I mean. So that whenever you're feeling doubt, you pray and ask God, bring back to my remembrance all that you brought me through to get me to this point. And thanking him for the good, the bad, because we know that all things work for the good of those who love the Lord. We have to be reflective and remember, because it's easy to get caught up in goals and trying to reach this and trying to do that. And it's easy to get caught up in the journey, get caught up in the race. This keeps us grounded so we're not caught up, so we're not taking things personal when we win and personal when we lose, right? Okay, so this is my business tree. This is an example. And I did do old school and wrote it down. Okay, so I was looking and you'll see I posted a picture on the Facebook page. And if you're not on the Facebook page, I don't know why not. The business of being a virtual assistant. Maybe this is your first time listening, so thank you so much for my first time listeners or watchers if you're on YouTube. The Facebook business page for the podcast is the business of being a virtual assistant. So you'll find us over there. But I posted a picture of my favorite corporate job, my favorite corporate job. I was a software engineer at Sprint in Irving, Texas, and it was my absolute favorite job for a number of reasons. So I always start there because that was a good place. I really liked working there. So I start there and then I end up kind of, maneuvering around that. So when I'm jotting things down, it's not in order. So when you're thinking of things, don't worry about the order. Just get it down and get it out of your head. And then if you want to order it and organize it later, you can. So that was my starting point for me is Sprint because that was my favorite place. But I didn't even write this down. I'm thinking about this now as I talk to you. But how did I even get to Sprint in Texas? I am from North Carolina at the time. When I graduated college, I went to UNC Chapel Hill in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And when I graduated, I moved to Raleigh. And I was in Raleigh for 6 months, worked in an insurance company. That job I liked for a very short period of time. It had nothing to do with the job, but everything to do with the first time experiences, sitting at a desk, having your own phone, blah, blah, blah. But that excitement fizzled, and my whole department moved to Texas. We had a choice. You either come with us, well, apply and see if you get accepted to come with us, or you're going to have to find a new job. That's how I got to Texas. That's a weave. And I continued to work at that company, got frustrated. I think I talked about that in a few episodes back about the whole emergency vacation, and ended up in a training program. And the training program uh, got us interviews to different jobs. And that's how I landed at Sprint, right? That's where I learned that I loved computers, technology, coding. That was a weave. If it had not been for that, I wouldn't have had the confidence to jump into being a virtual assistant. Everybody's journey is different. The way we all came to be is different. I love origin stories. And I'm calling it a business tree, but it's also your origin story for your business. And I had to get back to Charlotte, right? And because at this point, I was not I knew nothing about virtual assistant. I was all about programming and coding and stuff. But I was ready to move back home because being in Texas was too far away. Moved back home. I got a job with a consulting company, still programming. And on the side, a friend of mine was I think he was in a master's degree program. And one of their projects was they had to build a website, and he didn't want to build a website. And me, being the techie one, because I was a programmer, he was like, "Can you do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I would love to." It was about building a website. Build my first website in Front Page. Some of you may be thinking, I remember Front Page. Or maybe you don't. I think at one point it was a part of Microsoft Office Suite. I could be wrong, but it's a Microsoft Office product. So anyway, was doing that for a long time and loved it. Then everything went downhill because of 9/11. And so that kind of put a halt to a lot of things. I was a programmer, so I was helping build new things. But after that, there were no new things being built, so there was a halt. I had to find a job somewhere else, so that's where a career change came in for me. I ended up getting into healthcare. How is that even a weave? Because I learned management skills. I eventually became a program manager, and that helped me with management skills. While I was doing that on the side because I wasn't making enough money, I started selling art, doing in-home art parties. How is that a weave? Because there is where I learned, I love training and presenting it and meeting people. It was great. I love that. That's a weave that contributes to this and doing the podcast and training and everything comes together. If you write down your origin story, you'll see how it all comes together, working for the good of your business. Everything comes together for the good of those who love the Lord. You are qualified. This is part 1. We'll get into part 2 next time. Thank you so much for watching and listening. You have a wonderful and fantastic day.